Are live, the SMT podcast. This is the random Thursday edition. Wait, Wednesday edition. Is it Wednesday? Wednesday. All right, October 5th, 2022. Seriously, dude, I don't even know what day it is. Appreciate you guys for coming by tonight to watch the live edition of the show. And we're actually experimenting. This is the first member live chat exclusive versions of the podcast. So what I did was I enabled channel memberships. I mentioned that I was going to do it once I hit about 20,000 subscribers. So we hit 20,000 a while back, and I went ahead and put some tiers together for some additional access and perks. And one of the things that the membership includes is the ability to live chat. So if I was going to do a live chat exclusive for members, that's kind of like a feature and a perk, and there's different badges and there's emojis that you can earn and stuff like that. So it's just a way to kind of get involved and support the channel and kind of create some more engagement of communities within the community. So we got different ways you could do this. We've got early access videos. We have exclusive content. I'm going to start doing member-only live streams and stuff like that. So there's going to be more perks and more things that we can do exclusively within the platform. Baby Yoda, that's a good question. I'm probably not going to get rid of the Patreon because the Patreon is just a different way to do it. I'm going to essentially try to do the Patreon as, and actually, if you look at the way that these the access is, like the pricing structure, it's actually more cost effective for like viewers and supporters to do it through Patreon. But because it's because Patreon doesn't take a ginormous share of the revenue, right? So because of that, it's actually cheaper to support me on Patreon because Patreon doesn't take as much as YouTube. So if you support me there, you get access to the same perks. If you support me here on YouTube, they take a lot more. So it's like, they make it so it kind of hurts. Anyways, if you're satisfied watching and commenting in videos and stuff like that, then just continue to support me with your viewership and stuff like that. If you want more, if you want to do more, like whenever I do these types of live streams, just go ahead and support us, and you can get the chat enabled feature, and then there's different tiers for early access to videos, and then I'm going to have exclusive live streams and exclusive videos. So it's extra content, it's additional content. If you want to take your telco enthusiasm to the next level, that's how you would do it. And I also built in like the Discord link. Discord invites will be through like the upper tier of the members and stuff like that. So we're going to start to see more of those perks and ads kind of come to the members. Big shout out to Baby Yoda for, I think, becoming one of our first members. So welcome, man, and thanks for supporting us and all that you do, and being a moderator and stuff like that. So appreciate you. Zero Cool, what do you think about member stuff, man? Do you like that feature built within the platform? Is that something that you've experimented with or checked into?
Man, I think you better
See, that's how I look at
everybody,
it.
yeah, it's a great tool. You put out amazing content, just having the insider stories, information, and it helps people in tech, but it helps the customers of these carriers, of people that want to know certain things. So if you want the information, if you're the greatest, if you want to know before buddy, you got to do. You got to become a member. Become a member.
Oh,
do it.
Yeah, it looks like we do have some new members, man. We got Baby Yoda, we got Gellert, we got Jason D. You guys are officially the first members, man. So welcome, and thank you guys. I appreciate it very much. I guess they joined and it didn't show on the live chat yet. So yeah, you guys are awesome. Thanks for that support. Again, it's not my intention to make anybody have to do anything. It's just another way to create communities within the community and to create additional access and perks and stuff like that. And I said I would do it at 20,000. So here it is. I mean, we're doing different things. We're doing new things. All right. And, we want to continue to give people, more stuff to chew on, just different looks and different types of content. I'm probably going to start doing, I have a lot of content. First of all, my catalog of videos that I've got in store is extensive. I got tons of content, and I can release them. I can release some publicly. I can release some to members. Like, there's so many different things I could do. So yeah, appreciate you guys for all your, considerations and supporting us. Baby Yoda says, yeah, appreciate it, man. All right, Zero Cool. You ready for this first story, bruh?
I am, and I just want to let I'm on a T-Mobile connection. I'm hanging on what appears to be a null zone. We're just desperately trying to hang on to it. So it's just like it's a fun time.
Rough. That's rough, man. Get that sucker up high, bro. Put it on the upper level.
I'm actually decided to go to the other end of the where I'm at right now. So
see if it helps.
But yeah, I'm ready for the first story. Let's get to it.
All right. So me and Zero Cool were talking earlier in the day. He shared something with me. Zero Cool, you want to kind of give us like the background on it, exactly what like the story was about, and then we can kind of discuss the impact in telco?
Sure, yes. So I think it was, I don't have the article pulled up per se, but there was 2 U.S. communication satellites that were launched in space. This is for C-band. This is to get the 4.2 gigahertz C-band for terrestrial television customers, so they can use their C-band sat additions and still watch C-band TV, right? Runs up at 4.2 gigahertz. And also this allows for clearance for all the carriers that use C-band in the 3.7 range. So this allows for early clearing. Once the satellites are in operation, and once the frequencies have been cleared, they'll be able to have more bandwidth. I believe, like 200 megahertz of bandwidth, I believe, at least for Verizon, in more places.
Yes.
Yep. So that's going to be really good. That's going to be beneficial to customers, people that need high capacity bandwidth, people that need instant capacity, right? So that's what we call that, instant capacity. So yeah, this is great. This is, I did not expect them to launch it. At least I thought it was going to be early next year. Looks like they're way ahead of schedule, actually. And that's the last satellite. So they'll have full clearing, and we should see the bandwidth for Verizon, at least for Verizon, in full motion early next year.
Yeah, this is going to be big news. We're going to start to see a lot deeper channels. You guys are going to start getting a lot of capacity coming to your connections. And I think it couldn't come at a more perfect time, Zero Cool, because phones, like the modem hardware, is also kind of taking the next step, right? So carrier aggregation of like multiple mid-band channels is now a possibility, right? That's
right. So basically, this allows for greater carrier aggregation capability. So basically, what that is you're going to have more with C-band to carrier aggregate with other bands, right? You have the full spectrum. You can use different, combination of RF configuration bands to suit a particular market, to where if you need high capacity, you can mix like a C-band with a AWS with mmWave. If you need more low band, you can mix it with that too, right? So it's just more capability to mix and match your configurations and provide for the customers.
I often, whenever people were discussing standalone networks, like standalone 5G, anytime that conversation comes up, I feel like you can't really have the conversation and discuss the possibilities until you have multiple channels of like 100 megahertz channels, right? So like if you're doing millimeter wave, obviously the depth of bandwidth is, that's the GOAT, right? 800 megahertz, 1000 megahertz is very possible. But like mid-band, you need multiple mid-band channels that are exceeding 100 megahertz, in my opinion, right? So like one of them is 100 megahertz, and then get a second one of like 40 or 60 or 80 or another 100. See, now you're talking real capacity, right? And the frequency in mid-band is adequate enough, like in terms of the range and the propagation, where you're going to start to see those connections indoors and still be really, really fast. Like we don't have to sacrifice capacity, or excuse me, sacrifice propagation for capacity, right? Like with millimeter wave, you kind of have to make that negotiation.
Right, exactly. So with standalone, there's really two things that really need it on the RF side, need it to work versus like a non-standalone channel. For non-standalone, you're good with a single channel. With standalone, you need to have irrigation and bandwidth. You need to have like both ingredients, right? It's in order for standalone to work. But the reason why that is because you're doing multiple 5G technologies, for example, like frequency hopping. You're doing what they call a spread spectrum. You're doing, your uplink is doing. You're pretty much your uplink channel is doing the same thing as what your downlink is. That's different from non-standalone, right? So,
oh yeah, huge, man.
Have you been
Zero Cool? Are you on Twitter?
No.
Okay, I was gonna say if you're still on Twitter, I know you were back in the day. It's been a while, but like I've been showing a lot of speed tests of like edge cell absolutely destroying mid-band 5G. Like I'm talking 1 megabit or less on the uplink. It's been horrible, dog.
Oh yeah. Yep. And that's the thing. Like you really have to have. The main reason I should say. It's not just the core. The reason why your uplink is horrible is because you don't have enough carrier aggregation bands in your uplink. You only have maybe 2 versus your downlink where you have 10. You can do 5. You can do 5 carrier aggregation per E node B. So it has a max of 10 for right now, right? But your uplink, you only see what 2, usually 2, maybe 3 tops, 2 or 3, right? So it's not enough. So with the standalone, that's going to change. You're going to have synonymous carrier aggregation with your downlink and your uplink bands, right? So you're not going to have to worry like, do I have enough bandwidth on my uplink? Is the carrier aggregation correct on this? So
I was gonna ask you, what do you think those gateways that we're seeing with Verizon, like the new one's coming out, and that one's probably going to be special. Right, it's got millimeter wave, it's got mid-band, it's got all the channels that they use. I think it's also N48 enabled, right? So we're going to be seeing that soon. I mean, you think those gateways are going to start doing something special to where they might lift the 300 by 20 threshold? Because like right now, that's kind of what they're capping the home internet at for Verizon. But like if the channels are deepening and they can afford to do it, do you think they start experimenting with a 500 by 50 tier, and they can charge an additional like $20 a month? So instead of 50, maybe 70. Because like I'll be honest with you, Zero Cool, to get the additional uplink, I'd pay the $20.
Right. Yeah. See bandwidth with the added support those devices. If you didn't have like the additional C-band bandwidth, those home internet devices will be kind of left out in the cold. They would kind of work like how a T-Mobile device does. Yeah, well, yeah, they would kind of like work, kind of like how the T-Mobile internet devices run the fritz, right? So
yeah, but these are brand new, man. Like the new gateway hasn't even come out yet. That I'm not talking about the ones that are in people's homes now. I'm talking about like the one that they just discussed that has all the mid-band, all the C-band and millimeter wave. Do you think that one being a newer model with some newer hardware, do you think that one's got potential to?
Yeah, because you're taking advantage of it, and what it's no. Try to think of it like this. Think of like the bandwidth is not just going to be for cell phones and tablets anymore. the bandwidth that's being allocated in the C-band range is going to be for your home internet. So what that means is they're going to devote specialized. To be honest with you, the RF configurations that are sent to the phone are obviously different than your home gateway. Your home gateway is going to have different configurations to where it's going to work, with your serving cell tower. So basically, that's really going to matter to high capacity, high bandwidth areas, and the C-band is a perfect example to make everything work perfectly. So, if you have one of these new gateways, and if you're going to be living in a city that's going to be rocking 200 megahertz of Verizon C-band, your life will be absolutely amazing. You won't complain. You'll have everything you need to do.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? It's just
what about your mobile experience? What about your home internet experience? Like, it opens up your world to connections in places you maybe didn't have that before.
Exactly. So I can really see a lot of small to medium-sized businesses taking advantage of this. They may say, legacy DSL, right? And they just the bandwidth there is not cutting it. So they need high capacity bandwidth. They need something better. Verizon is definitely going to be the solution for them because of the instant capacity that C-band brings, right? So like I said, it's the benefits of this is just astronomical. And when you combine it with millimeter wave eventually, it's game over. It really is.
You think? Do you think we got to start talking about backhaul upgrades, man?
I didn't hear you.
Do you think we got to start talking about backhaul upgrades at some point, right?
To be honest, Verizon, they
all right, let's see if we can get Zero Cool back in.
Am I back?
Yeah.
Am I back? Sorry. Yeah, it's the backhaul. Speaking of connection, someone needs to take a lesson from this is T-Mobile because it shouldn't be dropping like this. About 600 birds. It should not be dropping like this. So the backhaul for Verizon is not going to be an issue because they bought the Corning fiber, right? Remember that purchase? So I'm not worried about that. I'm not worried about backhaul because the reason why I'm not is because they're able to support the existing millimeter wave connections that they already have. Adding C-band to that, they have all the backhaul thing. I'm not worried about it. What I'm worried about for Verizon is going to be actually what I'm worried about for Verizon is going to be 12 gigahertz. Will they utilize that? Will they will they tap into that? I think that they will. I think they'll go full bore on that. If they are able to utilize 12 gigahertz, then they win. So
actually, speaking of Verizon here, we got our kind of like first regular story here. This one's actually from Fierce Wireless. Zero Cool, are you familiar with Thor from Verizon?
Yeah.
Okay. So over under, that truck is worth $2 million.
Oh, I did not even look at the truck. I know it's probably it's got like a satellite on it, probably a heavy Colt or something. Yeah.
It's got every single band in terms of the radio gear. It's got antennas, millimeter wave, C-band. It has everything, dude. All right, let's see what they did with Thor here during Hurricane Ian. All right, so they drove it out there. All right, in the response to like this extreme weather situation with Hurricane Ian, the Tactical Humanitarian Operations Response Vehicle acts like a Swiss Army knife. It supports Verizon's private 5G network. It's a kind of mobile command center that delivers Verizon Frontline solutions, according to the Verizon Frontline Vice President. Normally based out of Phoenix, Arizona, he said it's been in Florida since late last week in Verizon's efforts to support first responders. They're using all kinds of spectrum, millimeter wave, C-band, low band, LMR. What is that, Zero Cool? I'm not familiar with that term, LMR.
LMR, that's like your it's your.
What kind of frequency is that?
LMR is pretty much. I used to know what that meant. It's like your. It's not like their land-in mobile radio. It's for
I
like
wonder what frequencies that is.
it's
LMR
usually, I believe,
frequencies.
on the
Oh,
it's
it's
land mobile
ultra
radio.
low. Oh,
Yeah,
that's ham radio, isn't it?
it is. Yeah. So
Oh.
yeah,
So
I
people
wasn't
that are
sure what
using old
LMR they were
school
talking about, but
walkie-talkies and
it's
stuff
land
like
mobile
that.
radio. Yeah, that's what it is.
Okay.
So basically, I mean, I have a land mobile radio license, so that's what LMR is. It's LMR and mobile radio systems used for public safety usually, and usually used for like businesses and like industrial businesses, stuff like that. So they'll be good.
All right. It's also got CBRS, and it can also accommodate microwave. We got a moose sighting, folks. Moose, what up, man?
What up, moose?
What's happening? Oh man,
We got the original in the house.
dude, there's been so much coverage on the damn, natural disaster, the hurricane. How much is happening, man? But you know what? I've been missing. There hasn't been that much coverage from T-Mobile. T-Mobile doesn't have anything to show, dog.
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
Wait, but Moose, they had a ton of they had a ton of generators that were shipped out to Florida. I don't know if they had fuel in them, but they had generators.
That's right. The generator. But you know what? Cool can tell you, just because a generator is shipped does not mean that it's actually going to be usable. No, the cell site might be damaged. The antennas might be pointing in the wrong direction now because so many different things could have been possible.
Well, speaking of the response, these were just some of the sentiments we were hearing from Twitter, because that's really the only way we've been able to communicate as a community. People were telling me that Verizon sites went down they went down the most frequently, but they recovered pretty fast. Like, they were able to get backup power to the sites, and they were getting them operational within 24 hours. AT&T had a dedicated response team. They had cows. I saw all types of pictures. So Verizon, AT&T, and then T-Mobile had backup power, and they had cells on wheels too, the cows. So all the carriers did their best to prepare. But from what I understand, Moose, and I don't know if this is true, man, you tell me what you heard. I heard that Verizon sites went down the most. Most of them were restored within a day. AT&T went down the least, but they were the slowest to restore service to the ones that did go down. Did you hear anything about that?
Well, I didn't hear about the how fast it went up. What I did notice, though, is that a large carriers are transmitting. This is the first time, guys.
I'm sorry, Moose, you're breaking up, man. Could you repeat that?
Shared frequencies. The first time that they're deploying shared disaster in times of emergency.
It was previously not utilized?
I think
no, it's
Go ahead.
The shared frequencies are going to be on the 700 megahertz that Verizon and AT&T are sharing, and the 850 as well.
Looks like we're having a hard time with Moose's connection, possibly.
He's probably on the same T-Mobile tower.
Oh, damn.
I can hear you. Is that this is the first time since the original response to the pandemic shared spectrum being deployed on the sites, for the emergency. So AT&T is transmitting specific frequencies, and they're allowing Verizon and T-Mobile to effectively roam, right?
Right. I mean, it's good. We saw screenshots, and people were sharing images of phones roaming. I saw a picture of a Verizon phone roaming at AT&T. I saw Verizon roaming on T-Mobile. I saw T-Mobile roaming on AT&T. I saw everything. Because it's wait a minute, why? I think it was Verizon when a phone was on band 25. I'm like, wait a minute, what is going on over there? I saw another, like, for example, like, you know how everything depends on like the region in terms of licenses. So like there were counties where Verizon has like 10 megahertz of band 2, but they're connected to a 20 megahertz channel of band 2, right? So that means they're on T-Mobile or something. We saw that quite a bit as well. Wow, man, this must have been there must have been multiple days of restoration efforts, because we were seeing stuff, I think, for about 3 days. I know that they were using drones for coverage. They were using, the traditional cows, the cells on wheels. I think the carriers did a pretty decent job, man. I think they did the best that they could, given the circumstances. I mean, the whole freaking section of the state was basically flooded, wasn't it? Like, how are you even going to get, like, support there to, like, just restore service if it's flooded,
Yeah, it was like most of the west side, especially the areas near, what was it? Naples, Tampa, Fort Myers was hit really bad. Yeah, so.
All right, there we go, man. So we actually did see a Thor sighting. Thor came down with his hammer and provided cell signals with millimeter wave and C-band. There you go. Pretty cool stuff, man. Trex says, my family vacation home just got power back yesterday. It was 20 miles from the eye of the storm. So that's pretty. I hope everything turned out as good as it could. I'm sure there's a lot of people, a lot of damage to their property. I'm sure a lot of people are going to be going through the replacement of a lot of stuff. But, in times like that, sometimes it's good to just forget about the stuff and just think about your health and your family and your safety and consider that a win. I mean, think about all the insurance that we have, right? Zero Cool health insurance, life insurance, home insurance, car insurance. Like, what do you have all that for, right? Isn't that what that's for, really?
Most insurance is just a ripoff. The only time it comes in use is when disaster strikes.
Yeah, and I say this qualifies, man.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
What's really funny is that T-Mobile sent their employees in Florida like, do you need assistance? And the options were, yeah, they sent all like T-Mobile's employees in Florida as an assistance alert. So like, if there's a couple options you can do, text 1 if you don't need assistance, text 2 if you might need assistance, and then text 3 if you need assistance, like we'll put you up in a hotel.
Oh, damn. Okay, now I got you. Philip says, that's a good job by the carriers for all working together for the customer experience like that. I wasn't aware of this going on. Yeah, I wasn't really sure about this too. I mean, I did see the screenshots, so like I didn't see any official announcements, but it's nice to see them coordinating that. Absolutely. Saving some people won't get power till Thanksgiving. Wow, man. Zero Cool, have you seen or heard of this?
So the towns that are actually flooded underwater, I'm talking about up to the first floor. There's been a lot of homes, businesses that are flooded, and cars flooded. You can't drive anywhere. Like around Naples and stuff and other areas. Those are the areas that are not going to get power till November because the whole city is underwater.
Wow.
I got. I was pretty lucky because I'm living on the east side of Florida in the Cocoa Beach area. It's. I got lucky, so I didn't have to. I only had like a couple power flickers, and that was it. So.
I think this next piece of news, maybe this kind of riles up Moose a little bit. And for those of you that are just joining us, I know I see 90 of you here in the live. Consider joining Sneed Mobile Tech as a member today. Hit the join button. It's located next to the like button. You'll get early access to videos, exclusive member live streams, and my live member chat features, as well as other perks and added benefits. So you're doing two things. You're extending your engagement within the community and the network tech enthusiast space. And then you're also supporting your favorite creators. So appreciate that in advance. Thanks for those considerations. This next story is about Netflix. Moose, does that get you rowdy at all? I know you're kind of into like the streaming wars of things.
Oh God, here we go. Talk to me. What?
It's interesting, Moose. I mean, we do. I mean, it was obviously a bigger deal when like HBO Max was really hitting its stride, right? So, and that's kind of like come and gone in a way because it's like no longer offered in the traditional sense with like AT&T's Elite plan. Like everybody was all about it, and then it kind of went away. It's no longer included. But anyways, Netflix ad revenues are poised to hit $2.7 billion by 2025, according to a forecast. All right, so you know how like we've been talking about how the economy is unstable, there's a ton of inflation, people's spending habits are starting to kind of change, everybody's looking at ways to save money. Well, apparently, advertising revenue is in no chill mode, 2.7 billion for Netflix in revenues on ads by 2025, so just a couple of years away. Analysts are starting to make the estimates on this is going to be pretty quick. The estimate includes 1.7 billion from Netflix's U.S. and Canada business, 1 billion from the rest of the globe. Most, what do you think of those numbers, dog?
Well, that's actually, in my opinion, very low because a lot of it don't want to pay for the 4K plan on Netflix, right? The pretty bad version, right? Squid Game season 2 is going to be coming up, right? The Stranger Things, the next that is another ad potential right there, right? So with Microsoft to do the ads, right? Netflix, it's going to be how much money Netflix is going to be able to generate from just revenue alone from the ads, right? Because they're going to be putting on there. I'm pretty sure that other streaming services are going to be ads. And this is the thing that's funny, if they don't allow other advertised on there, that's going to hit, their right? Because it's all in that, Disney right now is in a huge market. They feel like they've plateaued. Disney Plus, HBO Max.
I think Moose, I think a lot of the streaming platforms feel like they plateaued. I mean, didn't they have a renaissance for the last few years? I mean, maybe you could say like the last 5 years. It's been an absolute boom for them. But like at some point, they all realized, okay, we're probably in a saturated market. Getting subscribers is probably peaked. Now they started looking at the ad-supported versions that are coming in a little bit lower in price to try to take market share from other platforms and then try to create like new ads. Getting more customers, more subscribers on quarter. This is going to be huge for Netflix because literally the moment they announced it, their stock price started to increase. So clearly the investors were like, oh, okay, maybe Netflix, when the stock price completely was decimated and it had that huge precipitous dip. I mean, Moose, we're talking about a stock that I think peaked at $700. Didn't right. Netflix hit like 700, like 6 something?
Yeah, they were a streaming service that, mattered. But
I mean, I was never going to buy any shares of Netflix for 700, but like if and when it dipped down to like $200, it's like, wow, okay. I mean, even if it never makes it back up to 700 again, like if you come in at a price like $200, the investor is looking at it like, man, this thing may double. If things work out for them with the ad-supported version of Netflix, right?
Well, the other thing that you hit on, Peacock, that for the first time in many, many quarters, they actually gained subscribers, right? When that's NBC, right?
Yeah.
They gained 2 million subscribers this last quarter. They were actually, like you said, flatlined.
Are you talking about Disney Plus, you said?
No, that was Peacock.
Oh, Peacock. Yeah.
Is it bad that Netflix's ads are better than their own content?
You're
Is it
absolutely
really
right.
that bad, dude?
Yeah, it is.
All right. Here's some forecasts for Netflix. I believe this is the market share total company revenue forecast. This is from 2022 to 2027. Those are estimates, obviously. But we see a 31.7. We see a 32.8. I mean, they're forecasting up. I see an upwards trend, Moose. I see revenues increasing through 2027, dog.
You know, one of the things that my mentor told me, he was like people are going to increase revenues, that there's going to be a price increase, more price.
Or maybe we just lost Moose, but it says here the aim of Netflix ad plan is to rejuvenate subscriber growth with less expensive plans. Industry watchers anticipate an initial price in the U.S. of $7.99 per month for an ad-supported plan, $2 less than Netflix current base offering. Zero Cool, do you pay for Netflix? And if you do, what are you paying? Also, next level, are you willing to pay $7.99 a month for an ad-supported plan versus $9.99 a month for the Netflix ad-free?
So I used to pay for Netflix. I'm just kind of just leeching Netflix, but I don't mind the ads. I'd rather pay for like a 4K content that's ad supported, because here's the thing, like you need the ads to support the content. You need the ads to support the distribution, whether it be in 1080 or 4K or what have you. That's what ad revenue is, right? So I am definitely cool with the ads, because to me it's you need it to deliver the great picture that's on your TV, right? So I'd probably pay the $9.99 definitely for the ads, and I know people don't like ads, but I don't mind it. I'm used to it.
Well, with the ads, it's going to be $7.99.
With the ads, yeah, I either or. I rather, as long as I get the 4K content that I want, or at least the highest quality that they have, I don't mind ads. I'm glad that it's there. I remember like having, ads are like, we get them in web pages, right? And that used to be like the worst, like pop-ups and ads every web page you go to. Now it's like the streaming services. And now there's even in apps, like you launch apps and there's ads, right? So it kind of makes me wonder what's the next thing that they're going to introduce ads in. It's kind of interesting. So I think the ad-based model is needed, because it helps with distribution, it helps the content, it helps the programming, and it helps keep customer churn hopefully low.
I mean, in and of itself, like $7.99, saving $2. I mean, that's a nice little it's a nice little discount. Like if you think about it, so all you got to do is tolerate 90 seconds of ads before you watch your show, probably another 90 seconds mid show, and then maybe after, and then you start your next show. Like it'll be something like that. So if you can stomach that, and maybe you go up and go to the bathroom, or you fix yourself a snack, and it's like, who cares about the ads, right?
Right. I mean, half the ads are T-Mobile anyways. So.
and it's funny. Somebody was mentioning, it was at Trex. This is pretty good stuff here. Good food for thought. Do you see T-Mobile switching Netflix on us to the ad version to save money? Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yep.
Absolutely. Like if you think about it, they're going to save $2 a subscription. Absolutely. They have. What do you think, Zero Cool? You think they got 50% of their customers actually steadily using Netflix, or do you think it's more?
I think it's more. I want to say closer to 65, 70%.
Are using it regularly, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
and the
a
reason
huge
why,
amount.
the reason why I say that's because they're just known to keep it. they're not going to cancel the Netflix. Like, you know what I mean? They either upgrade the Netflix or they'll keep what they currently have. And let's put it this way: I never met a T-Mobile customer that says like I'm getting rid of Netflix. You know, when it's such a perk. You know.
What do you think, Moose?
I don't know, man. I mean, if you have, yes, they are going to downgrade the folks to the ad version only. Was something that was discussed in their most recent conversations with Netflix. Because remember, you told me a long time ago, they pay full price. It's not a discount. There's no discount.
They absolutely pay full price. So
it's not a
I think
rate.
No, there is no wholesale rate. I mean, this is a partnership that's literally just a billing partnership. It's not costing T-Mobile less money to have 50 million subscribers with it. You know, Netflix was getting money hand over fist in the streaming wars, Moose. Nobody was touching them. I mean, with the exception of HBO Max having a couple of good years and Disney Plus having a few good years, it's been a Netflix world, man. I mean, Hulu's doing okay, right? But it's really been a Netflix world, seriously. I mean, look, this you don't hear anybody saying Disney Plus and chill. It's Netflix and chill, dog.
I could kind of think of something worse. I can kind of see them giving like a 480 package to just the Netflix basic subscribers, and then for T-Mobile home internet customers, make it, you know, the 1084K for free type of deal.
So to be a better experience by having it through there.
That's kind of like what I can see them doing, but yeah. Let's put it this way: would you rather take 480p with ads we're not having T-Mobile home internet, or would you rather take a discounted rate having T-Mobile home internet and the best quality with no ads?
Best quality with no ads, bro.
There you go. But you got
I mean, that's a slam dunk.
Exactly.
Dog.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're gonna try to get Moose back in here.
I don't
know what's going on. I have no idea what's happening with connections tonight. Can we keep Moose on? Is this gonna happen? I don't know. All right, let's see here. Let's do this next one here. Where'd it go? Oh, this is pretty cool. All right. While I'm getting this next one set up, this one actually is about drones, man. If anybody out there is a fan of drones, Verizon has pegged a contract with Lockheed Martin, missile contractor here, U.S. stateside, 5G drones to locate military targets. All right, man. It's like the freaking Transformers movies and stuff. A little less than a year after Verizon and Lockheed Martin announced plans to collaborate on 5G integrated military communications, what's called 5G MIL. The two companies revealed that they recently used 4 5G-enabled drones to capture and transfer intelligence, surveillance, and what is this word? Resonance?
I can't see it.
ISR, it's called. It's data from aircraft in flight and used to geolocate military targets. They are absolutely, they are absolutely using millimeter wave for this. Right. Test occurred in Waterton, Colorado, using Lockheed's 5G MIL pilot network. So it looks like a private network. Zero cool.
It is military. The only thing that I can say about this, I just hope they put it to good use and not turn against all the citizens like January. You know, I don't want. You know, I think it's good. I do. I just
you see it as a tactical tool for the military, not for any type of citizen negativity, right?
I want it to be that way, yes. But here's the thing: I'm always cautious. I'm always cautious whenever private enterprise or private businesses get involved with the military. I think the military should do military things and just keep, other people out. I don't know how. I mean, I'm sure it's going to be beneficial for both parties, but I could see something, going wrong, sideways pretty quickly. So, I mean, if you think, I'll give you a perfect example, right? So, we know T-Mobile, their systems have been hacked, right? Can you imagine somebody hacking a Verizon 5G drone with the military, and they'll just, send a heat-sinking missile? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't sound good. So I hope their systems are up to date and up to military spec, what Verizon's going to do, because it's just they better be on the game when it comes to security. Because I could see it going sideways, but that's why I like keeping the stuff separate. But more power to him. So hopefully, Hans has his his military gator shoes on for it.
Verizon has been working closely with the DoD, was selected last September to outfit 7 Air Force installations with their 5G ultra-wideband service. So, we've talked about enterprise. We've talked about government contracts. It seems like Verizon keeps winning these. We do see AT&T involved as well, but we still don't really see anything going T-Mobile's way when it comes to these government contracts.
It never will. Verizon, there's a couple of reasons. Verizon's, they got the most bandwidth. The military use a lot of bandwidth. Number one, and number two, they need it where they need it. Verizon's got the most density, right? So it's kind of a no-brainer to use Verizon, and Verizon has the.
I think it's the coverage zero cool. The fact that they got sites in the middle of everywhere.
Exactly, and not just that, but the security standards. So it's like Verizon's core, right? The core that passes the data back and forth is extremely secure. So the military trusts that. The DoD trusts that, right? So it's about state of trust. It's about who it's the whole zero trust game, right? So it's about who you can trust and to provide these services, right? It's like giving the keys to your house type of deal, right? So
that's a pretty good analogy, man. I think you're spot on with that. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like I said, I'm happy that Verizon can help the military. Any time that anybody can help the military is good. I just hope that it's used properly and that nothing bad happens, like what happened to T-Mobile. So
yeah,
we don't want somebody to be like, oh man, our systems are hacked. Oh man, let's just try to pay these people off. Oh man, you know what I mean?
Yeah, we saw some major issues the last couple of years with security from the Magenta side.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
Pretty nasty.
Can you imagine T-Mobile running the military? Ooh.
It's hard to think about it because they've never been involved.
Would you want T-Mobile to run the military? No. It would be. They would be wearing pom-poms and thongs.
Well, I think the biggest problem is here in my market in particular. There's just not enough sites that are on backup power. If we're just going to be talking about reliability, it's not me trying to I'm not trying to poo-poo on T-Mobile's parade, but if I go to most of these tower sites, Verizon, AT&T all have backup power. Verizon's got generators on a lot of sites. If AT&T doesn't have generators, they have massive amounts of battery power that'll run for hours. That gives time for the grid to kind of get back online. And there's a lot of sites where T-Mobile has their own site, which is great, but that site doesn't have an enclosure with dedicated backup power. I've been in some of these sites, Zero Cool, and it's literally 2 small batteries, and it's well, how long is that going to last?
Yeah, they usually last about 9 or 10 hours. But let me tell you something. If in a cluster of Verizon sites, guess what? If one tower goes down, nobody notices. You don't notice.
Dude, that is so true. When they were working on my neighboring cell, it was down for multiple days. Mm-hmm. And because the tower grid is so tight here, it just I was getting 20, 30 megabits per second.
Yep, your neighboring cell will pick it up.
Yeah. So my experience was essentially the same. I wasn't able to download and upload massive files, but like streaming video and audio didn't skip a beat.
That's
You know,
right.
my calls still went through just fine. Like everything was fantastic.
Yeah, I mean that's when you have a good tower grid, you have good RF engineering, you have good cluster management. You know exactly, if a tower goes down, you don't sweat it. You have towers to pick it back up. That's just good engineering, right? So, T-Mobile doesn't have not nearly the tower density, right? So that I could see them having issues if a tower goes down or whatnot, and God forbid if there are any contracts of any sort with DoD or military or government or whatever, they're gonna it would not be a pretty sight. So.
Absolutely. I'm 100% in agreement on that one. When a Verizon site goes down, you don't notice it at all.
That's the way it's got to be done if you're really going to be, if your claim is reliability, I mean, you have to have redundancies. You got to have overlap. You got to have a grid that can pick itself up when something small happens. All right, guys, let's go to this next story as we kind of approach the 50-minute mark here, 51 minutes. Report, 5G connections are doubling annually. This is according to a report from Omdia and 5G Americas. Global 5G connections are predicted to reach 1.1 billion by the end of this year. 5G connections are doubling annually, reaching 813 million connections by the end of the second quarter 2022. What do you guys think of this rate? Doubling 5G connections every year.
Honestly, I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's more. I think her article's fine. I just think it's more than double.
Well, hold on. So if you think about this,
do you think that they're being kind of conservative?
I do, yes.
If you think about this, right, guys, every single year, right, T-Mobile and AT&T are doing promotions, right? Every single year. We don't know what Verizon's going to do next year, but, they've been doing promotions as well, right? Don't you think that the reason why, when they specifically say 5G connections, right, are increasing or doubling every year, that means that year over year, let's say we start off at, 12 million. The next million, there's 24 million. The next year, right, there's 48 million, right, connections. That's because there's more and more people throughout the entire year that are taking advantage of these, $1,000 off, $800 off promotions to upgrade from their previous phone. I mean, look at, just to give you an idea.
You're talking about just the U.S., bro. Can we talk about third world countries where the populations continue to increase? Like that's where the growth is, man.
Case in point, India just activated their 5G network, and this is including like all the IoT devices as well. So we see more countries turning up 5G. Like I said, India just did theirs last week. They got 5G in India now. That's great. So,
Yep, you're absolutely right. There's
India's
5G
big, China's big. There's other Asian countries with some pretty fast, rapid growing populations. African nations as well. I mean, that's probably the next growth frontier, right? Like if you look at Lagos, Nigeria, what do they have? 17 million people? As countries have their middle classes increasing in size, and they start to generate more money, their economy is more stable, and revenues, just like gross, like GDP, for example, is increasing in those countries. They're going to become more technologically advanced. They're going to adopt more technology. They're going to start using 5G use cases, right? So not only handhelds, but I think also the IoT of things, right?
Right.
Like the Internet of Things devices for connectivity and surveillance and all those things.
Yeah, AR, VR devices, those are all 5G, right? So connected cars.
Oh, Zero Cool in his metaverse, man. Oh, yeah.
I'm gonna try to stay far away from that. I'm gonna be the last holdout. I don't care if I'm required to do it at work. I don't want any part of that because I'm more old school, and it's a thing. Like it seems like every month or every couple of months they're revamping something with the metaverse. Like they're gonna create some new thing, a new feature, or something you can't do or can do in the metaverse, and that's just It's a 5G world. and that's
By the way,
business is
04, I
already
wanted to
doing.
ask you on that.
Yeah.
What do you think about the recent layoffs from Meta? And they just announced today that they suspended, for the first time, a tech company has suspended their internships for
Oh,
the
damn.
January. Yeah, Meta, aka Facebook, has suspended the internships that were slated for January of 2023. No mas, no mas, no more. Straight up, they're done.
To what I think what happening with that, I can see why no internships, because they don't want to waste the time training and money. I think the firings happened simply because Zuckerberg wasn't happy. The metaverse is his baby. He renamed the whole company to Meta, so his whole company is transitioning from Facebook to this metaverse, right? That's all he talks about. So I think the firings were just maybe he was frustrated. I've heard some rumblings that he's not happy with the growth rate of what the metaverse is doing. I'm not sure if that's because of how it is right now, the landscape, or maybe it needs more. If 5G is not playing a part like he wants to, and it's a lot of. I hear it's a lot of brawling behind closed doors that Zuckerberg is not happy with metaverse. He's also not happy about more partners not being on board with the metaverse. He wants more partners, such as to amp up the AR and VR for example, like NVIDIA or like ARM or like different technology companies, right? Different VR companies and stuff like that to help either make his VR headsets better, make the metaverse experience better. He's not happy that not a lot of people are jumping on board to help. I don't blame him. I mean, this is going to be the 3D internet experience. Your 2D internet is your phones and computers, but this is going to be 3D internet where you can interact with people on a virtual stage. And I can see why he's not happy with it. And I think that's why he fired all those people.
So Gene also is bringing up Instagram and WhatsApp and how that gets integrated into all this, and I think you're going to see a lot of those little features and add-ons, and you've got a bunch of these different sets of hardware that are coming out, like the Oculus and stuff like that. We're going to see more of these applications, and it's going to be integrated into those apps too. Think about the actual communication through WhatsApp, globally. Is there a bigger platform than WhatsApp? Right? And when it comes to, straight up celebrities, I mean, pretty much everybody uses Instagram as a way to communicate and share things with their fans and with their people and stuff these are massive platforms. If there's anything we could say about Facebook and Meta as a company, they have made some incredible purchases, and I think they're also maximizing their reach. I mean, how many billions of users are on WhatsApp? It's got to be at least 3 billion.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because everybody and their mother has WhatsApp. Outside of the US, it is the biggest form of communication. Moose, talk to me about the reach of the metaverse as it pertains to the potential through WhatsApp alone.
Number one, and then number two is Telegram, and then number three is Signal. Or they flip-flop some years, they flip-flop. But you're absolutely right. The potential with just those critical messaging apps in the third world, or even in the second world, right, are huge. Now, here's one thing that for some reason Meta has not thought about this the same way, because remember, Instagram organically became huge, right, guys? Organically, right?
Right.
And what I mean by organically is that everybody, including celebrities, were using Instagram. They didn't need to get paid to use Instagram. They just used it. You know what I mean? And then after the fact, then the whole advertising market came about within Instagram. Now, what I believe needs to happen for Meta is They need to start paying celebrities. And I'm not talking about gamer celebrities. They need to get the Kim Kardashians of the world, the Kylie Jenners of the world, Tom Cruise, all these people that are famous worldwide, right? Including in India, including in SK, right? South Korea. You need to get, BTS to do their own version of the damn Oculus Quest thing, right? The headset. That's how you grow the market share. Okay? Who cares if the world looks, a little bit pixelated and all this BS, right? If people are advertised enough, they will go to it. Look at the perfect example about T-Mobile. T-Mobile's network in a lot of places is still bad, but people go to it because it's cheap and because it's something new. It's a hype factor. You know what I mean? The commercials make you feel good.
No, they don't make me feel good.
It doesn't seem like Zero Cool's into that, man.
No. Okay, let's talk commercials for a little bit. Verizon. Verizon puts out a much better commercial. I know T-Mobile has the marketing hype, right? But to me, especially the new commercials about the business, the robots and stuff like that, it puts out a lot better message for businesses and for consumers. That they're there to get they're there to get stuff done. I think it's better messaging than what T-Mobile is producing. Moose, what do you think?
Are you talking about in terms of the advertising dialogue, the marketing strategy and stuff?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, man. I don't know. Whatever it is that T-Mobile is doing seems to resonate with the consumer. I think it's a combination of better pricing. They're starting to like people hear, okay, well, 5G is good, right? It's the next G. So that means if T-Mobile's telling me they have the most of it and they have the best of it, then I should be switching to them, So whatever message T-Mobile is sending out there, some of it must be resonating with the consumer. I mean, I know the bottom line is pricing, Zero Cool, but are people sipping the sauce or are they actually getting tricked here?
I think it's snake oil salesman type.
Hold up.
Because sometimes it's like,
I want to say something here.
It's not it doesn't have to be real. It just has to be real to them, people's perception, and then they buy in.
It's perception. Like if I tell you I'm going to sell you like a beautiful shiny red car and not tell you what the engine is inside, well, okay. You know what I mean? Like Verizon gives it to you straight. T-Mobile doesn't. Yeah, sure. I got 5G coverage in more places. Well, I'm sorry, I don't have service out in Idaho. Verizon's not going to say that. It's better. Verizon has more truthful messaging, in my opinion, than to what T-Mobile does. Just because I tell you something 1,000 times doesn't make it good.
Yeah, but they're just going to keep pushing it down the consumer.
Hold up, I got to say something about this. In my honest opinion, Sneed, the reason why people are upgrading to the latest G is because of the device promotion. How many people actually buy out their phone outright compared to the device promotion?
I mean, most people go with promos and they, get it on those installments.
Yeah. That's why
and most people realize they can't afford to just cough up the stack right up front,
No, and they'd have to do it in credit, and they really need that money right now for other things and not a phone. If they're going to take out $1,000, But my point on this is, Sneed, right? That you got to think about it like this, right? The reason why in the United States, phones, we have now 3 generations of the iPhone. We have 3 generations of a Samsung phone, right? That have the 5G indicator, right? And they use the technology. The promos are working. The problem is that not enough people are upgrading fast enough because the inventory is not there. I honestly think that the reason why we haven't seen an explosion of 5G adoption yet is because the supply has never been there, man.
I think it's a combination of having to cough up the dough and maybe some of the supply stuff too. I think it's a combo. I mean, Moose, we need smartphones to be cheap and still have 5G, right? Because the adoption is like the people that are typically upgrading every 2 or 3 years that typically just upgrade to the next iPhone. That's not the trouble. The trouble is going to be for the people that are hanging on to their Note 9. They've already had it for 3 years. And they're like, I'll just wait another year. And then that year comes and I'll just wait another year. So they're hanging on to their Galaxy Note for 5 years. They're hanging on to their iPhone 8 Plus. They're hanging on to their iPhone 10. Their 10R. And they're riding it out literally until the phone freaking falls apart. I mean, I was just talking to my neighbor the other day, and he's telling me about his iPhone 10R, him and his wife. And I'm like, 10R? Is that your primary device, or is that like a work phone? You know what I'm saying? And he's like, no, it's my primary. He's like, I bought it 3 years ago. But even 3 years ago, Moose, it was a year old. Right? So
right.
just there's just a group of consumers that just don't care about the latest and greatest, and they don't, man.
The last iPhone I had was an iPhone 6, iPhone 6S.
I'm sorry to hear that, bro. Those are some of the worst phones ever produced of any kind, bro.
It was back when I had Sprint, and I was blessed to have a Sprint 3G signal in a 4G area.
Yeah, I mean, I remember the lack of total band support on the iPhone 6, and all of the Androids were starting to get band 71 and band 66, and it's like, dude, how late to the party it was. And the Wi-Fi radios, ugh, they were atrocious.
Yeah, they were.
The Wi-Fi radios were a nightmare. All right, Moose. We got Anwar is looking for a Moose clap. He missed it.
Oh, shit. You guys ready for this?
Hit the cheeks, bro.
Yeah.
That deserves an extra serving of scallops, my friend. Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, does it ever?
Trek says once they start taking Spectrum off of LTE and performance starts to tank, people will switch. Yeah, I mean, what's your expectation? What's your expectation? Are we expecting that in the next year? Are expecting that in the next 2 years? Do we expect them to remove half of the LTE frequencies? Because, what are you going to do? You're going to leave band 13 if you're Verizon. And then what? What are you going to do with 66? What are you going to do with the 2?
It's 20%.
You know they're going to put band 5 on all 5G eventually.
Yeah.
Right? They'll leave band 13 on LTE, but the band 5 is going to go all 5G. To hell with that DSS nonsense. And then for AT&T, I mean, you got all the flexibility in the world. What channel, what frequency don't they own? You know what I mean? They've got 30, they've got 29, they've got 14.
Yeah, has anybody
12.
tested the 14 band 14 on 5G for AT&T? Sneed, have you or Moose?
It's not active on 5G yet. It hasn't been certified or cleared.
Right, not yet.
So actually, we're waiting on two things. We're waiting on N14, and we're also waiting on C-band for FirstNet. Right, so all these things have to go into place before it could happen. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you guys. The only things that really get me excited, N41, N77, N260, N261. Dish, N70 kind of gets me excited because they've got 45 megahertz of 1700, 2100. So that's kind of cool, right? You can get some pretty good speed out of that. I'm excited about DoD, right? So 3450. I'm excited about C-band going over to NR2, man. CBRS, excuse me.
Right.
Because, some of the companies have 30 megahertz, 40 megahertz licensed, but then there's an additional, 60 or 70 or 80 megahertz of it unlicensed. I feel like there's a lot of potential there, and I know Verizon's going to aggregate that stuff. Thanks, Onward. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for that super chat, sir. Dish is not using MU massive MIMO on N7. No! Can that change sometime soon? Like, can they just discontinue whatever they're putting up and put up the better stuff? I'm kind of into higher order MIMO,
Yeah, I mean, with I don't know how that would look with a massive user MIMO, like a 64 by 64 or something. I don't know how that would look. Even who knows?
Wait a minute, is this real life? I thought it was just the LTE that was limited to 20 megahertz channels.
N48 would never be.
N48 you could do 60 megahertz channel. You could do a 70, an 80. You can combine licensed and unlicensed. In 5G, you should be able to do.
You could actually combine your. I don't know the exact rules, but theoretically, you can combine like a GAL and a PAL to do that. But
are you serious? This is so stupid. He said the FCC put rules to it. Oh.
I would have to look further into that, to be honest. But we need it to be high powered first, and then get the crap over to 5G.
Yeah, facts. Oh, Anwar, good question. Thanks for the super chat. How come I can't use regular chat anymore? I only have super chats available. It says members only, but I've been subbed forever. Okay, so Anwar, what we did was we created a members live chat feature. So to activate that to be a part of the live chat, you just have to join the live chat membership tier, and you'll be able to do that. So everybody can view and watch the live streams, all live streams, but there are going to be some member live chat exclusives like this one. So in order to chat, you got to be a member supporter. So there's like an entry-level tier for that, and then there's some other tiers. I got low band, mid band, and millimeter wave, and they all have different sets of perks. What do you think of the naming scheme, Zero Cool?
I liked how you named those. Very fitting.
Yeah, so like you got the the live member chat, which is like the entry level, and then low band gets you like access to a couple of things. Mid band gets you access to more, and then the millimeter wave, you're like king of the world. You get access to everything, including the Discord and stuff like that. Yeah, man. I thought you might like that naming scheme. We might even start to do like, I might do like the emojis. We might start using the brands. So like,
oh, there you go.
You get like avatars. You get like Verizon 5G UW, T-Mobile 5G UC and stuff, and AT&T 5G Plus logos. I'm gonna see if I can figure all that stuff out and add that in there. Oh, this is a good idea. This is really good right here. How about this one? Next tier needs to be 6G.
I was actually just thinking that. Yeah, we maybe need a 6G tier.
Yeah. Oh man, which member tier gets me access to C-band? Nice, dude. You got to get the Visible Plus plan or whatever it's called. But thanks for the super chats, bro. Appreciate it very much. It's very kind of you. All right, guys. I was aiming for a 1 hour live stream. Looks like we hit it. 1 hour, 14 minutes. Favorite hashtags. I'm going to go ahead and do mine. Let's go ahead and hashtag SMT memberships. This was kind of like our first trial of the SNE Mobile Tech YouTube channel membership feature. So if you guys want to support your favorite YouTube creator or creators, support them through memberships and get access and additional perks and benefits while you're doing that. So hashtag SMT memberships. Zero Cool, what's your hashtag for tonight, man?
Oh, let me think.
We got hashtag Telco Jesus. When he's here, he does that one. We can do hashtag help the bear. We've had hashtag ravioli gang. We've had a bunch of different ones, man.
I would say hashtag no more hurricanes.
Not for you, man.
Right.
You're not into that, bro. I don't blame you, dude. I'm telling you, dog. Like if I lived in Florida and I had to live through like 3 hurricanes, 2 hurricanes, maybe even after the first one, I might go and never come back. Straight up, man.
Yeah,
Just ship
it's,
all my stuff to wherever the hell I'm going, you know?
right, exactly. Yeah. I mean, it's some people, avoided the hurricane. Some people got hit pretty hard. So, but yeah, hashtag no more hurricanes.
Hey, Moose, what's your hashtag for the night, man?
The hashtag is claps. Clapping those cheeks, dog.
I was going to say, let's give Moose hashtag never lost.
I was gonna do that,
that
but no. We gotta do it on the October 24th. You know what day that is, dog. You know what day's happening there.
Oh man. We shoot for some what's up and coming, Moose? What are some important dates in the near term for telco?
So we got well, actually, I need to know when Comcast earnings are. That's one of the things that I've been thinking about.
You think they're gonna have a bad quarter, man, again?
I think that all ISPs are gonna have a rough quarter in terms of like cable, right? So like net additions for their internet product. I don't think that they're. I think only like you were saying, right? T-Mobile's gonna have a good quarter. Verizon's gonna have a like for fixed wireless, but their mobility, their wireless is gonna be terrible.
Yeah.
But Altice, Comcast, Spectrum, they're gonna be rough, man. Very rough because people are canceling. They're just using their hotspots again, mobile hotspots.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We're watching cable. We're watching for the fixed wireless access story. And then we're going to see if AT&T and T-Mobile can continue their growth. They're both the growing carriers, big cables growing in mobile. That's all going to be happening, in the next few weeks. So we'll keep you guys in the know as the earnings season kind of kicks up here in a couple of weeks. We'll definitely be doing live streams and making videos and content on that. All right. So that's a pretty good show, man. That's a pretty good show. Appreciate you guys for coming by to watch. Thanks for being a part of the community and all the new supporters that are now channel members. You guys are the best. Consider supporting us. We out this piece. Peace.
Peace.